You're listening to Traumedy, the podcast that helps you transmute your trauma using comedy. I'm your host, Nancy Norton. I'm a comedian, a registered nurse. As many of you know, I got out of nursing for the same reason a lot of people got into it, to save lives. It's better this way, folks. I love to heal with humor now. I'm a keynote speaker about the power of humor, and humor helps us in so many ways. It gives us resilience, re-energizes us, helps us with creative problem solving, team building, and health. It actually raises your NK cells, natural killer cells, which scan your body for viruses and other problems. So look, man, stay healthy. Keep laughing. Laugh as often as possible. Take a humor break. Every hour, take a humor break. This week's episode deals with a lot of childhood stresses with somebody who seems very unstressed. Pretty chill guy. Really a testimonial to perspective. So I hope you enjoy this week's episode, and thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Traumedy. My guest this week is George Delgado. And George is a comedian, and we met up at the Rapid City Comedy Festival in South Dakota. Obviously, South Dakota, I suppose. Is there any other Rapid City?
I do not think so. Sherrod kept saying Grand Rapids.
He did.
When we were up there, he's like, yeah, we're in Grand Rapids. I mean, it's not Grand Rapids.
That's Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I at least knew that much. And it was such a treat to see you up there. And that was just this summer. So we really don't know each other. So this is an opportunity for me to get to know you better. Well, how long have you been doing stand-up?
It'll be 10 years next year. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. I started in Corpus, so it was very one mic a week thing.
Oh, down in Texas?
Yeah.
Corpus Christi?
Corpus Christi, Texas. Yep.
Yeah.
One mic a week. And then I got a lot of stage time on the weekends just because there wasn't a lot of comedians. I would show up and they're, hey, we need a host. I'm like, okay. So I just host.
Was there something that just prompted you into stand-up? Was there a moment?
No, it completely happened by accident. This is a weird turnaround, but I got into comedy because of my church life, which I'm not part of anymore. But when I became a senior in high school, I started going to church with my best friend, did all this stuff. And then I worked at this church camp. I worked with this guy, and he was like, hey, I'm moving to Corpus after the summer. Do you want to go with me? I wasn't doing anything, so I was like, sure. And then one of my other roommates went with us, and he got connected with this thing called the Baptist Student Ministries. And that's where I met my buddy Nick, and we were doing a Bible study one night. He's like, hey, I'm going to this open mic. Do you want to go? I'm like, sure, I'll go with you to an open mic. I was like, I want to see comedy, sure. Weird open mic, obviously. It's a Thursday night, not a big city. And then the next week I went with him again. He's like, you want to go again? I was like, sure. And then he was like, I was like hanging out with the other comedians. And I was like, oh, these guys are cool. They're like, hey, you should sign up. I was like, sure, why not? And I just put my name on the list, and then.
And you just went up and just riffed?
Yeah, just whatever came to the top of my head.
Do you remember anything that came that night? Like,
I remember talking about a joke about I don't know. I was just telling a story about how my cousin got so in trouble so bad that my grandma had to drive into San Antonio to go give him an ass whooping because his mom is ineffective at it. So I was telling that joke and how before my grandma got in the car, I told her, grandma, make sure you pull down his pants because he's going to be wearing multiple pairs. And sure enough, 2 hours later, he calls me crying and he's like, oh, grandma pulled down my pants. And he was like, I was wearing 5 pairs of underwear, 3 pairs of shorts. And because I told her,
dude,
it was a lot worse. Yeah.
You're a traitor, man.
I know. He pissed me off a lot. So he deserved it.
Revenge by way of grandma.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So that's the only thing I remember from doing stand-up for the first time.
And that was your cousin?
My cousin, yeah.
That was your cousin. And are you guys still friends?
Yeah, we're friends.
Friendly?
I mean, we're ever since like our grandma passed and the holidays are all different, so we hardly see each other as often anymore.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're still cool. We actually have the same birthday, a year apart.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. 1 year apart.
Yeah. So there's something about those same birthdays.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But that's the only story I remember from telling about the first time on stage.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah.
So today, I was telling you about the podcast and how I'm studying therapeutic humor and helping people cope with their trauma using humor. Of course, it's not a replacement for trauma therapy. We say that every time. Yep. Still do your trauma therapy. Have all your feelings, have the grief and all the rage and frustration or whatever you need to have. But then, to help you move out of that state of powerlessness that trauma often causes, humor humor kind of uplifts us. And
Yeah.
do you have any examples in your life that humor has helped you through?
I don't know. I feel like I just joke about everything. And like I tell people, I'm like, because there's times where I shouldn't be laughing, but I laugh a lot. Like my girlfriend, for example, if I'm watching something and there's something sad happening on TV, I often laugh at it. And she's like, what is wrong with him? It's like, I don't know. Like, it's just, I'm like, I like to see people suffer too, I guess. But also like, I don't know, when we laugh at things, I think you take the power away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it can't hurt you if it's belittled, you know?
Right. So maybe it's like, okay, I'd rather laugh than cry.
Yeah.
And especially in this, like, maybe when you're watching this show and something really sad happens, you're just like, I can't, maybe there's a part of you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think that might be it too.
Because I can kind of feel that. Like when I laugh at something that, especially if it's make believe, it's okay. Yeah. Like but what about in real life? You ever see something like, do you ever get in trouble laughing at a funeral or laughing?
Oh yeah. I got in trouble for making a joke at my grandma's funeral. It wasn't at the funeral. We all went to dinner after, or we went to lunch afterwards, and everybody was like, "Oh, you do sound like all my grandma's tias," and everybody says, "Oh, tell me a joke," and I was like, "No, that's not how it works." And then it was a Catholic funeral, and so we're like, "Oh," and when the food came there, "Oh, let us pray." And I was like, "We just pray for 2 hours back there. We're gonna pray now." And they're like, "Now not the time for jokes." I'm like, "Now is not the time. You were wanting me to take a joke this whole time." You know?
Come on, you guys. Make up your mind.
Yeah.
Because there is, I have heard so many people talk about taking out exactly the tension of of mourning, because obviously you're all in mourning, but to have this moment of like, hey, let's just take the tension out for just a second.
Yeah.
I remember a guy I was interviewing on a Zoom show once, and he was a nurse, and he had a funeral. It was his brother, so it was an untimely death of a young man in their family, and they had a huge family. And after the funeral, they were sitting at this big booth, one of those big like corner booths, and they just barely fit in there. And he cracked a joke, which is, "Oh man, I'm glad John isn't here," the dead brother.
Yeah.
And he said it was actually exactly what they needed.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends on the family.
Yeah.
I don't know. We get shamed a lot as comedians, and we're doing a service.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, like my brother and I, especially like when our dad passed last year, I think we spent, like, we were obviously sad, but I think we talked about all like the funny things my dad would do, and that helped it a lot more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's something that my dad was really old and going through dementia and stuff like that. So we're like, oh, like I feel like we were already prepared for his passing for years.
Yeah.
It was always like, here's going to happen, and it never would. And then when it finally happened, I'm like, oh, now it happens.
Yeah. And there's a part of you that is relieved, and another part, that finality is heavy, man.
Yeah.
So you guys are, that's good. You made some jokes about something. Did anything come to mind about one of the funny things he does?
We would talk about how with his dementia, how we kept just putting on the same show because he would just forget. Yeah. And he liked Bigfoot stuff, and he'd always get excited. He'd always come and, "Hey, look, they're finding Bigfoot. They're gonna find it." "Okay, Dad, we'll get in there." And it's just the same episode on DVR over and over. And he would just come in excited every single time.
Man, there's something to dementia that there's a blessing to it.
Yeah.
You know, they're actually happy. They seem content as long as we're not confronting them. And when I was in nursing school, we were taught not to confront people about like, oh, that, sometimes you can remind them of what's going on. But hey, if there's no harm in it, watch it again and be surprised. And why not?
Yeah.
I had my grandmother, my grandmother had dementia. And when we were all sitting around one night eating her favorite ice cream, pralines and cream ice cream, and she would take a bite and go, this ice cream sure is good. It's kind of nutty. Just like you, Nancy. And it's like, she still knew me. She still knew I'm silly. We had this silly relationship. And then she chuckled and everybody chuckled. Then like 2 minutes later, she would say it again. This ice cream sure is good. It's kind of nutty. Just like you, Nancy. And then we laughed. And I think the third time she did it, this ice cream sure is good. And then it's kind of nutty. And then my sister goes, just like you, Nancy. And my grandma goes, oh, that's what I was going to say. It was just an acknowledgement without really like shaming or, making her super uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely times where, because I had to take care of my dad for a bit. We all took turns like living with my dad because my mom was in prison. And so we have to be my dad's caretaker. And so my dad would go into fits a lot. And so we weren't always the best with like not being combative,
Like a fit being, he's like defiant and saying,
yeah, he didn't believe what we were telling him.
Right.
And like we didn't want to tell him, like, oh, mom's in jail again. We'd be like, oh no, she's visiting her sister at the hospital. And he would usually go, but sometimes it wouldn't. And so he would go into fits of rage. And for being an old guy, he was strong.
Oh, don't underestimate the old guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there were times where him and my brother also would also get into fist fights. And he's, we have more weight on him, but he's like hitting us. I was like, geez, Dad, like calm down.
Yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it? When you're trying to gently restrain the elderly.
Yeah.
I mean, I have scars on my upper arm. I don't know if you can still see them, but I used to have these fingernail marks. Oh, see, I went away from my microphone. I used to have these fingernail marks from, this is like nursing stories, but I was on the North Shore of Oahu. I had one catheter kit in my trunk. This guy had pulled his catheter out of his penis with the balloon inflated. I don't know if you're familiar with the Foley catheters, but he had hurt himself, but he needed to get recatheterized. Yeah. And I'm there and his wife's there, and I got a hold of it. I got a hold of his junk, man, and I'm like advancing, and I mean I'm really good at it. I put a lot of lubricant in there. Yeah. I'll probably edit this out. I'm realizing as I'm saying it, and I'm advancing, but you get to that tender place, and he grabbed my arm, and I had a hold of his stuff. He had a hold of my arm, but there's this nursing mentality where the show must go on. Like I only have one catheter. His bladder is so full it could rupture. So I just kept going. Yeah. I got it done, but yeah, I ended up with these. And this is the funny part. I always said it was like E.T. You ever see the movie E.T.? Yeah. When they find each other in the field, and they scare each other. Yeah. That's how our faces were. That's how our faces were with this guy. His face was screaming at me, and I was screaming at him like, ah! It was just this. But anyway. Yeah. So your dad, that must have been rough though. And your mom in jail. I mean, I gotta ask. Do you do any jokes about your mom?
Yeah. I think I joke more about my mom than I do my dad because my mom was a heroin addict. Still is currently still using. I'm pretty sure.
Are you not in touch with her?
I am, but we talk, but I try not to. I try not to worry anymore because it's like after so many years they just don't listen. You know what I mean? And you can only do so much. And she's been rejected from rehabs and stuff, so it just doesn't work out. And especially like now that she's getting money from my dad's passing, because my dad was like 100% service connected disability. Through the VA, so he was getting lots of money, and so now like his retirement and all that stuff is going to her, and so now she's just having an influx of money where she could do whatever she wants.
I see. Already. And addiction is so hard. Yeah, a loved one with addiction, that's one of the hardest, to me, I've never felt more powerless in my life than loving someone who's addicted to something that's so like that could be lethal. Yeah, that's something you've had to live with a long time.
Yeah. And so like one of my jokes that I have is about my mom, where the joke goes like, oh, just how I'm an oversharer. My teacher's like, oh, hey, George, how was your weekend? I reply, well, I saw my mom cook her medicine in a spoon, and it's like, so like the innocence of a child, but like everybody gets kind of quiet. And I was like, it's a heroin joke. Like, it's fine.
The audience just like is listening and like, but that is the punchline. Yeah. I watched my mama cooking medicine in a spoon. Yeah. And then did that happen when you were a little kid?
I remember seeing spoons, and I remember seeing needles everywhere. And so that's like what I remember the most. Yeah. And then I did have one joke about how cops raided our house, and I do remember that. That was very vivid memory. And I remember I thought it was because of the drugs, but it turns out I think she was writing hot checks. And so they tracked her down. And so they were taking all the stuff that was in the house that was bought with like the money that she forged or whatever, however hot checks work. I don't know how they work. Yeah. And I remember them taking all the stuff. And my joke that I have about that is, I was more upset that they took my Nintendo 64 than I was that they took my mom. I was like, Mom will be back. I'm never getting a Nintendo 64 again. But I do remember when that happened because I remember playing outside, and then I remember just a bunch of cops showing up. And I remember there was a cop on our porch, and I was like, and he wouldn't let me inside. I remember I ran underneath his legs, and I went inside.
Wow, that's how small you were.
Yeah.
You were probably 3 or 4. Yeah. Like 3 or 4 if you went under his legs. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you tricked the cop.
Yeah. And I got inside, and I just remember them taking all our stuff.
Oh, man, that had to have been terrifying, especially if it was your Nintendo 64.
Yeah, they took everything. I remember my grandpa was living with us at the time, too. my step grandpa, my grandma remarried. He was pretty much my real grandpa. I never met my mom's dad. But I remember he was fighting with the cops because they were trying to take his TV. He was like, I bought this shit with my money. Like, don't take it.
Yeah.
You know?
Did he win that argument?
I think he won it.
Man, that's so, I hadn't thought of that. Like if you're cohabitating with somebody
and
they could take all the stuff in the house.
Yeah. And
then your mom's mom was there and your step grandpa, grandpa. And then so this is about trauma and traumedy, and obviously we know that a lot of people get onto self-medication with heroin or any of the drugs from having this trauma, that she may have had a trauma that she didn't want to face or couldn't face or just escaped and then got into the trappings of all the addiction. And then you're here as a kind of collateral damage of trauma in a way. I mean,
I definitely think my mom also, because my grandma was also a drug dealer and addict as well.
Wait a minute, your grandma?
What? Before I was born, at least as when I could tell, before all my cousins were, my grandma also spent time in prison and was dealing drugs and stuff as well.
Well, where do you think this started? I mean, I find in my, medicinal psychedelic therapy I'm really getting this spiritual, and I don't know if it's spiritual. It could just be on the DNA, ancestral trauma that comes from generations of trauma. And do you have a sense of that? Was there ancestral trauma?
I think it just has to do with poverty. I mean, it was San Antonio in the 50s and 60s and 40s. My grandma was one of 12 or 13.
Oh.
And they used to travel around the United States and work at different fields and farmlands. And so I know there wasn't a lot of money. So obviously the easy thing to do is drugs.
Yeah.
Sell and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's really about needing the money.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people get addicted.
So with my grandma being in prison for selling drugs and stuff, my mom's dad also abandoned them and had another family. And then my mom also had a brother who was killed on the day of my tia's wedding. From what I understand, I might be getting this wrong, but I know that I think they might have been robbing him for his motorcycle or something like that. But he was like they're one of two brothers that they had. And so I never got to meet him. So I know like they had a rough childhood. And so that kind of just like cycles.
Yeah, no kidding. And whose wedding day it was?
I think my tia Cecilia. So my mom's sister.
Oh, your mom's sister.
Yeah, it was there. It's my tia Virginia, my tia Cece, my tia Carrie Jo, my mom, and it was my tio Paul. And then, man, I feel so bad. I think his name was Michael. He was the one that was killed. My tio Paul's still alive.
Here's my ignorance. Yeah. I don't know the term tia.
Aunt. Yeah.
And that's Spanish?
Yeah, that's Spanish.
And so is your family mostly Mexican?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have family in Mexico too, or?
Not that I know of. I always tell people, they're like, oh, where are you from? Oh, Texas. Like, yeah, but where's your family from? Texas. No, but where's it from? I'm, Texas. Like, I don't know. I could get as far back as Texas as I can remember.
Yeah, probably a lot longer than a lot of white people. Yeah. Because we're in the state of Colorado, which is a Spanish word.
Yeah.
Right? The color red.
Yeah.
That's all I know of Spanish, obviously. I didn't know what Thea was. Thea.
Yeah.
Is that my...
Yeah, Thea. T-I-A.
Oh, Tia.
Yeah,
okay.
Thea, yeah.
Okay.
We pronounce it Thea, not...
Oh, you say it Thea, but it's spelled T-I-A?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I never studied. I took French for like 3/4 of a semester, and then I got kicked out. And I studied a little bit of Nepali. And then I think in second grade, we had a teacher who spoke some Spanish, and I learned just greetings.
I almost didn't graduate high school because I failed Spanish.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
George Delgado failed Spanish.
Yeah.
No, you got a D. What did you get, a D?
I think I got it was close. I think I had to take Spanish twice. And then Spanish 2, they're like, you need to take a second one. I was like, I really don't want to. They're like, you need to.
Is there pressure? There must be pressure on you to have a name, Delgado.
Yeah.
And like, I'm Texan, And so do you, this expectation from people, do you have that? Do you have to deal with that a lot?
Yeah. There's a lot of cultural identity issues that people have. It's like, where you're not Latino enough if you don't know Spanish and stuff like that. And it's just a whole thing.
Yeah, that's a rough thing, huh? When you're in that limbo. My son's, he's Nepali, grew up in a white family. And then I remember in second grade, they made these masks where it was like, here's who you are on the inside and here's who you are on the outside. And so on the inside, he always wanted to be from Scotland. I don't know what it was, but he did like the...
You watched Braveheart?
Yeah, maybe so. I don't remember, but he did like the British flag on the inside of his mask, and on the outside he painted it brown. And it was just like, okay, that's interesting. How you feel on the inside, how you present. And also with gender, a similar thing.
Yeah.
People talk about, I'm learning a lot about how we present to the world, how we identify inside. These are not always the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's just where I come from, because I'm from Texas, where people are like, oh, like, what are you? I'm like, oh, I'm a Texan. And that's all I could say. Like, it's like, technically I'm Mexican. I had that joke about being, identify as indigenous. It's like, which I didn't really get into until the last few years, and doing a DNA test and then realizing, oh yeah, Mexicans are indigenous, which is the whole Spanish colonization and stuff like that. But being Mexican, there's a lot of identity issues where it's like, if you're not Mexican enough, if you don't know this, you're also not American enough because you're this. There's a lot of internal fighting, like, oh, just because you're Mexicans make food this way, that's not the right way. It's like, well, your way is not the right way compared to the way we make it. And there's a lot of fighting, and you're never good enough, or you're never enough.
How does that feel for you, as in general?
I try not to think about it. I don't know. I have a lot of turmoil on how I identify. Like, obviously, like I say I'm Mexican, like, because just culturally, that's what I grew up with. Like growing up, we listened to George Lopez.
Yeah.
And all of like his jokes, I'm like, oh, that sounds like my family. And so it's like, okay, so that's what like I identify with a lot. But as of lately, it's like I don't know.
Which is Mexican American.
Yeah.
George Lopez. So that's that is an identity, right?
Because he doesn't like the term Hispanic. He doesn't take in the term. He doesn't like that word. Some people don't like being considered Latin. There's a new term Latinx now, which is like non-binary, which is weird because it's like you're just adding X to the end of Latin. Like you could just say Latin, like because like the whole Latino.
Why add the X?
Yeah. And so there's people arguing over that now.
I love it.
Yeah,
we gotta have an argument, man.
Yeah, I know.
There's gotta be tension.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then like California Mexicans versus Texas Mexicans versus New Mexico Mexicans versus Arizona versus Mexico, and it's a lot.
Yeah. Do you do any bits about this?
I've been trying to a little bit. I've been trying to do a new bit where I'm talking about how like being Mexican is hard. It's like I'm not indigenous enough for the indigenous community. I'm not Mexican enough for the Mexican community. I'm just like, ask white people what they are. They're just like, I'm white. I was like, well, ain't that nice?
Yeah.
That must be easy, because most Americans don't identify with what their heritage is. Like white.
Yeah, you're right. And what is this whole thing about white? And would it ever be appropriate for people to go, I'm brown, like, okay, I'm brown, you're white. And neither one of us are really like, that's, I don't know. I saw that Instagram reel with that little girl going, I'm not white, I'm peach.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, is it necessary? Is it necessary for us to break down like that? Now you did the DNA test.
Yeah.
Now, what did you find out about indigenous? Like, are you from Mayan or?
No, it says, all it said was South Texas. So Native American from South Texas.
Native American.
Yes. So technically Mayans, Aztecs, there's a whole hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tribes that were in Mexico and Central America that became Mexicans. And there's even tribes now there still that were never colonized, or they don't identify, because you have the mestizos, which means you don't identify as you're Mexican or you're Spanish or you're indigenous. You're just there. And so ours was from South Texas, but it doesn't tell you what. It
doesn't say which tribe.
Yeah. And when I looked into it, it says the biggest tribe was Cojuicatan, I think I'm pronouncing it right, which was not a real tribe. It's what they identified all the tribes in South Texas as under one. So there's Comanche, there's hundreds of tribes all under one name. But Cojuicatan they just got state recognition in Texas. And so now I think they're trying to fight to get something better,
Yeah, that speaks more from the point of view of the indigenous person as opposed to getting categorized from the outside.
Yeah.
I always fantasize about how to make it right. Like, people talk about reparations for African Americans, but what about the indigenous people? I mean, we took this land, we took it. And it's like, well, how can we make it right at this point? Give it back. How do we do it? I've had this fantasy of what if we started a whole thing where people willed their property? Of course, when I say this, I'm like, after I'm done using my house.
Yeah.
You know, when I die, but you know, like that's not much of a sacrifice. I think the cool thing would be like if I did it now.
Yeah.
And then go here.
And the issue with Texas and like the Mexican community is that not a lot of Mexicans identify as indigenous, even though they are, because they're so wrapped up in Mexican culture because it's just been around for so long, which Mexican culture is just a mix of indigenous culture and Spanish. Now, like where there's programs like I know the university here, if you're enrolled like in a tribe, you get free college. And it's like, but the problem is in South Texas, it's like these people, we don't have a tribe that we can enroll in or know what we are because we're just so mixed in.
Can you take advantage of that? Are you interested in getting free college?
I'm about to take free college through my job, but it's only just because they want us to work for them.
So you're working, you just told me. I mean, you work so many hours. You work 60 hours a week, sometimes more.
Yeah.
And so you're actually, it's not like that's the benefit of all the hard work you're doing.
Yeah. If I could take advantage of something where I could go to school full time through somewhere else, then sure, but it'd be very hard. It's the whole identity issues with South Texas is just, it's too much to comprehend. And that's why I try not to think about it sometimes, even though it's what keeps me up at night.
Oh yeah.
A lot. And it also doesn't help that like identity politics is big nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like if you're brown or you're this, you have to vote this way. And if you're not, if you vote that way, then you're a traitor to your kind. And I'm just like, I'm trying to be me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just myself.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be put into a category, you know, as nice as it would be to know where I'm from culturally. Like I have my Mexican heritage that I cling on to, you know, my foods and everything else that I know of, but also like, growing up, like we didn't celebrate like Day of the Dead or anything like that. You know what I mean? But we were still Mexican. You know, I don't know how to explain it. It's just there's just so many facets of it that like it's so hard to comprehend sometimes.
Well, and like you said, most of Caucasian people, I don't celebrate Boxing Day or whatever they do. You know, in England, or I've lost whatever Irish festivals. I don't know. I don't do the Scottish, throw the big telephone pole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Highland.
The Scottish games. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, a lot of us have lost. You have bits and pieces that come through, and every generation kind of waters it down and then reclaims it. And I don't know. I mean, I'm curious too. Like, I remember seeing this. I think it was in the 70s. Time magazine did a composite of the person of the future, which was a beautiful brown person, and it was like, this is the future of the world, the melting pot globally. But then I know we all go back and forth where we hate losing the culture, but then I don't know. Yeah. Do you think it would be better? What is your opinion? Do you think it would be better if we all just sort of became one, like I think Earthlings?
Everybody should do as they please. Just don't get upset when people do something different. You know, like if you're Mexican, you want to marry a Mexican lady and keep the tradition. That's great. But don't get mad if, you know, a Mexican lady's interested in dating white guys and settling down and not carrying on the same traditions that your family would, you know?
Yeah, just don't put your stuff on other people.
Yeah, that's
live and let live. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Live and let live, essentially. Just do as you please. Just don't care. Just don't be bothered that people do it, because then it's just like you're not benefiting anybody. You're kind of holding everybody back at that point, you know?
Yeah. I like it.
I think.
I like it, but I'm very judgmental and like to tell people what to do. I think everyone should do the way I do.
Yeah.
But turns out it's not for the highest good. It's good. I mean, it does take all kinds.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
What else is like going on for you? Anything that you want to share in terms of things that are tickling your like, what's tickling your funny bone these days that maybe has a root in trauma? You know, something in your act. I mean, I love watching you up at Rapid City. You nailed that show that you did at the big theater, and I was glad to hear that you had family there.
Yeah.
And that they got to see you in a good, you know, because sometimes comedy festivals, you never know what venue you get.
Yeah.
Like I've done them where, I'm on at 5:00 in the afternoon at this little dive bar, and there's going to be a few. You just never know. So it's cool that you got to be at the bigger theater.
Yeah. No, that was great. Yeah.
Have
my
a killer set.
See me there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like was like, I know I have trauma, but it sounds arrogant where I'm like, it doesn't affect, I know it affects me some way. I've just never been able to dissect it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all my stuff with my mom, I think like me, my brother, my sister all took it very differently. Where my brother tried, up until recently, he tried very hard to like cling on to my mom and like trying to get her to change and stuff. And it didn't help that she also got him into drugs and stuff like that too. And then my sister was always very combative with my mom. And I was always just very passive. Like, you're going to do what you're going to do. I'm kind of out of it at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You just accepted it.
Yeah. I'm just like, I love you. I'll see you when I see you. I care about you. I'll call you every now and then, but I'm not going to sit here and beg you to stop doing drugs anymore. Because it's wasting my time. I don't want to spend the one time I call you a week yelling at you because you're high again. You know?
Yeah.
And my sister, and my sister's still my sister's combative with it. My sister helps her the most. My sister's helping her get financials and everything in order. Because she's closest there, but my brother benefited the most from. He just moved out here last year, so seeing him grow now is a lot, and he's matured a lot in his words too.
Oh, that's cool. Are you the older brother?
I'm the youngest.
You're the baby of the family?
Yeah, my brother's the oldest, then my sister, and then me.
But there's something in you. I feel like you have more wisdom in a way, even though you're the youngest. It seems like because you've got that.
Yeah, I don't know. My brother was always. Also, I think my brother, we're not trying to sound me. Me and my brother, my brother-in-law were like, I think Blas has Asperger's. He's just undiagnosed. Because like we were like looking it up, like why he acts, and literally like every point for point, it matches up with my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see that he's on the spectrum.
Yeah, I think he's definitely on the spectrum.
Oh, then that gives you that. I have another friend of ours who came out recently on stage saying he's on the spectrum. And all of a sudden when he said that, everything made sense.
Yeah.
Like it really helped me understand him better and feel safer emotionally and everything. Because I was always kind of wondering, like my guilty character flaw is I take things personally.
Yeah.
And it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes if there's not that rapport, it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's, like I have to get over myself.
Yeah.
And it really did. It was like, oh, I actually really found myself expanding. Did that help you with your brother?
Yeah, and I've always looked at my brother differently because I know whenever he was younger, they put him in like special ed classes and stuff like that, and then they always kind of like put him off to the side. And it was like before, because he's like 32 now, and it was like kind of before like they knew more about the spectrum and what it was, so he never got the care or the attention that he needed to be able to focus. Because I tell people, I'm just like he thinks he's dumb. I'm just like, boss, you're very smart. Like he's very smart. He'll talk to my ear off about all kinds of things. And he's able to like hyper focus on things, and he like really gets into it. And I'm just like, you just got to know how to channel that into what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people write him off just because he's a little bit quirky.
Yeah. And if they get that identity, like you said, at a very early age, well, although there's something wrong with me, and that becomes your identity, like you're in special ed classes, which has a stigma. And then I have dyslexia. I've never been diagnosed, but I cannot read when I'm under pressure, especially like going around the classroom reading. I was always panicking, like trying to read ahead so that I didn't sound like an idiot when I was reading. But you do start getting this identity, like maybe I am an idiot. I can't read with fluency like other kids can.
Yeah.
It really messes with your self-esteem.
I used to read to him before he learned how to read. I learned how to read before he did. And he wanted me to read him the Aragon books, but I kept losing patience, and so he learned how to read better just because I didn't want to do it anymore. But he's very he's also one of the funniest people that I know. Like if he knew, but he's unintentionally funny.
He's just so authentic.
Yeah, and I'm just like he talks about like doing comedy. I'm just like, if you could figure out how to channel how much you make me laugh, I mean, you would crush every set because he's just so. Like, he says just some of the funniest things,
There's a lot of comics coming up right now who are out and saying they're on the spectrum and talking about stimming and talking about different things and just being who they are and showing their, I don't know, man. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And TikTok, I have to say, I learned so much. My son and I both have ADHD, and we are all kinds of stuff you can watch on TikTok. It just evens the field a little bit. Yeah. That's cool. I'm glad to hear your brother's doing better.
Yeah, because he's also like learning how to get off of alcohol right now. And my dad was an alcoholic because my dad was a Vietnam guy, and so coming back, he just like drank. But speaking of trauma, my dad broke generational trauma. Like we talking like my brothers and stuff, like his brothers, my grandpa. My dad, my grandpa was in the Air Force for a career, and my dad lived with him, and my grandpa was very like harsh. He never said I loved you. He was kind of like, I remember my brother told me that my mom was saying that one time my dad was crying and tried to like hug his dad, my grandpa, and my grandpa just like pushed him away. He was like, get yourself together, George. You know, just like, just like that kind of like old, just very rough. Because he didn't know how to, you know what I mean?
He couldn't stand it. Well, and my mom did that to me. She had some issues with intimacy, and that threw her into a rage one time when I was like, Mom, I just want to feel your heart. And I tried to hug her and like, no. I was like, oh. Yeah. And I don't know what it is. Like maybe it's just there's some trauma in them. It's like they wall off all the feelings. Yeah. Like if I feel this.
They didn't get it from their parents. So it just kind of, and they don't know how to process it, you know?
Yeah.
And so my dad, you know, my dad was like kind of the black sheep. Like all my uncles, they're all like pretty successful, like coaches, and they're all in the military as well. And my dad was the hippie. Like you see like holiday photos, they're all wearing button-ups. My dad wearing a flannel, long hair, mustache, like, you know. Yeah. And my dad was a biker for a long time. But my dad, he never hit us. He hit me once. I think we woke him up and he was like, but he felt bad about it. But my dad also always told us, I love you guys. He would never hold it back. He let us know all the time.
So you felt that.
Yeah.
You felt loved and you knew you were loved.
Yeah.
And yet he probably had PTSD from Vietnam. Is that when he woke up and he was in a PTSD response or something?
I don't know if he never displayed it, but I never really saw it affect him. Only whenever like we would try to go to church sometimes, and he would always just want to sit in the back with his head down. And I know my mom told my brother that one time my dad was looking at my brother play, and my dad started crying because it reminded me of the kids that he had maybe dealt with in Vietnam. You know, because my dad dropped out too early from high school, like right before he turned 18, and he had his parents sign for him. And so he went and volunteered. And so he did 2 years. And I don't know why he volunteered. I don't know if it was just like maybe like my grandpa was in his ear, but my dad's brothers were all in the military, but one of them went the officer route. Only one of them was also in combat. But my dad was like he was a gunner on a helicopter. So he dealt with a lot. You know?
No. And you know, he, like you said, children.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard from other Vietnam vets that have had to kill children and in villages, you know, like sometimes a kid might walk up at 2 years and you don't know, because they'll put a grenade in the kid's hand and have them walk into where the troops are.
So I don't know what the context was. And I know he was shot down like 3 times and stuff. So he went through a lot, and he was barely even 20, you know.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
It is crazy too. I know my son is 19, and I think about that, like these kids going over to Vietnam at 18, 19, 20. They're kids. They're still kids. Your brain's not fully developed till you're like 26, 28, somewhere in there. Yeah.
So my dad was a door gunner, but he was also a mechanic. My dad was gifted at mechanics. Like my dad could fix an engine like nobody's business. Which I wish I could have learned from him. But, but by the time my dad is older, so my dad had me when he was like 43 or something like that. But yeah, my dad was a gifted mechanic. And so, but yeah, he broke generational trauma. Like he didn't process it the best way, like, but he made sure not to repeat the things that his dad did, you know.
Well, what's his name?
My dad's name is George.
That's right. You said George. Your namesake.
Yeah. I have my dad's first name. My brother has my dad's middle name.
I gotcha. Well, hats off to your dad. That's the thing I'm learning as I'm going through my trauma therapy. And it's hard to say it, but everyone is doing their best. And anyone that breaks generational trauma, I'm just so grateful.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get their needs met the best they can.
It's like in the last 10 years is where I've kind of changed a lot of ideas about my mom and kind of just stopped being so angry at her.
Good for you, because that's just toxic for you.
Yeah.
That is true. What is it? Resentment is like eating the poison. Eating the poison and hoping the enemy dies.
Yeah.
So it's good for you that you're just like, okay, that everybody live and let live. She's doing her best. You're going to take care of yourself. And Also, you're so busy working all the time.
Yeah.
And then tonight you're doing New Faces.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So
I'm excited for you. What's that?
I'm trying to debate what jokes I want to do right now.
Yeah. Let's go through your set list.
Yeah. Well, speaking like my mom, I remember I told her, because I have a joke about whenever like my mom ran from the cops and took me with her. I remember I told her about that, and she started crying because she's like, "You remember that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I remember that." And I was like, "Oh man, I hope you never come see me do comedy now. You're just gonna cry the whole time."
She has not seen your comedy.
Yeah, no, she never has. Yeah, it's not that I don't want her to. I just don't know if she could handle it.
You can't handle the truth, Mom.
Yeah, and it also made me think about whether or not I should do it. But at the end of the day, I was like, it's my experiences with whether or not I want to talk about it.
That's right.
And
I have gone through this with my mom as well, who she has passed on. She never came to a comedy show in 30 years. One day she started watching it on YouTube and she goes, I was watching old Carol Burnett or, old comedians. And I thought, I wonder if Nancy has anything on YouTube. And I was like, did you watch it? She said, yeah. And I go, did you watch the part about you? Because I do these jokes, about my mom being like sing-song voice and not really wanting to feel like, how are you? Don't tell me your real feelings.
Yeah.
Let's keep it up, okay? But she said, I skipped over that part. So I don't know. We never really talked about that. It was sort of like the unspoken thing. But maybe on some level she knew. She kind of knew that probably I'm processing my childhood. I mean, that's pretty classic of comics to process their life as part of their act.
Yeah.
But
so I have stuff on YouTube. I know one of my mom's best friends saw it. So I don't know if he showed her. And I don't know what video it was either. Because I keep switching my videos to private and public at the films. Like, I don't like his jokes or stuff like that. So I don't know if she's seen anything or not. And she hasn't told me she has, but I'm not trying to invite her out. But if she shows up, it's like, I'm sorry, Mom. I got to do what
I got to be me. You got to be you. That's fair.
And at the end of the day, it's like, if you hadn't done these things, I wouldn't be talking about it on stage.
Thank you. So for real, George, because that is an interesting thing. I feel like what I'm finding out from a lot of my friends who are doing a lot of trauma therapy, especially those of us, we protect the wrong people. I protected my mother all those years. I protected her when really, why was I doing that?
Yeah.
Why am I protecting her from knowing her authentic self? Like, no, man, these things happened.
Yeah.
I have a right to talk about it and process it. And this is a way of you dealing with it and reclaiming the power.
Yeah.
So one time your mom ran away from the police and took you.
Yeah. I remember, I don't know if they were the same occasion, but I remember one time she took me to a school with her. I guess she used me to get into the school. And she started going through classrooms and going through like teachers' purses and stuff. And we had a neighbor, Johnny, who was in the car waiting. And I remember she got caught and she like was walking out with me. And I remember the cop like pulling the gun out. I was like telling her to stop. And then we got in the car and we were like hauling ass away. I remember I was crying and stuff like that. But
holy crap. You're in the car. She ran.
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah.
With a cop holding the gun.
Yeah.
Do you remember feeling fear?
Yeah. I was just crying. I was a kid. I was less than 10.
Wow.
So I remember crying. Now I think about it, I'm like, oh man, come on. You were in a getaway car. Like, you should have been cooler.
Come on, George.
Yeah, get it together. Right?
Yeah, we're in the getaway car. I love that.
Once in a lifetime opportunity.
Well, you seem so well adjusted for all this stuff you've gone through. And I got to think that humor has been a part of that.
Yeah,
humor's helped you. But do you feel that or do you?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing that helped me is moving away.
Yeah.
Because I realized like whenever all my family was together, we would always be fighting. And then I just think, I don't know, like even my roommate commented, like my buddy Byron, who I lived with in Corpus, and we moved to Vegas and out here together. I just held on. I was just angry a lot, and I had a lot of anger issues. And I remember one time we were leaving a Walmart. I had like a case of soda and it broke on me, and I dropped it. I was like, oh man! I picked it up, and he's like, man, you changed. Why? He's like, a year ago you would have lost your shit at that instead of yelling and cussing. I'm just like, I guess I just don't care anymore. Like,
yeah. So there's a part of you that's resourced. You're not always in that state of agitation, because it's scary if you're hanging around and you're feeling that close to somebody who is using, and it loops you into their world, right?
Yeah.
Now you're not as looped in.
Yeah. And I'm seeing that change with my brother now too. Now that he moved away, he's less angry. He's more happy. and he keeps telling me, he's like, oh, this is the happiest I've been in years.
Oh, that's great.
So that makes me happy.
Yeah, I'm glad you have your brother nearby. You guys get together sometimes?
Yeah, we work together. I got him. I moved him out here so he could work and get money because he was working a fast food job in Texas. I was like, hey, come with me. I'm like 20 something bucks an hour. He's like, really? Yeah. So he moved out here. Then his girlfriend moved out here a few months ago. And so they got their apartment now. But now I'm just trying. Once I go Monday through Friday, me and him are gonna have more time to hang out.
Yeah. Have some family time. Keep some of your family tradition alive between the two of you.
Yeah. We go to the movies every now and then. I'm like, let's go to the movies. All right, cool.
Does he love your comedy?
He's seen me like once when I first moved out here. So back in 2018, when I first moved out here, I did an open mic, and he was on vacation with his girlfriend and her family, and he came to the open mic and hang out. And I won best set of the night. I got like $25 or something like that, and so that was really cool. But he hasn't seen me do like a real show, so I'm waiting for like a weekend when I go to like get like a rotating tap or something with like a good audience. So I want to invite him out. Yeah,
shout out to Steve. And I got to get Steve Vanderplug on the podcast. Shout out to Steve Vanderplug and Rotating Tap. Yeah. Seriously, check him out on Instagram. He puts together great shows at these breweries all over town, and the audiences, I mean, he's been doing this a long time, so the audiences are trained. I mean, trained is the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
They're used to it, I've never had a bad audience at Rotating Tap. Yeah, they're always great.
Yeah, they are. They're fun.
So I'm waiting for like a weekend show for something so I can bring him out.
Yeah,
because he works at 4. His shift is 4 a.m. So it's like I would like for him to come tonight at New Faces, but it'd just be too late for him.
Yeah. So tonight, you're going to knock him dead.
I hope so. I'm just trying to get a good tape. That's all.
Okay. That's a good attitude. Yeah. That's the best way to go into something. And not to brag, but I'm going to brag. So, in my late 50s, I won a couple of major festivals, and really I wasn't going there to win them. I was going to practice doing 4.5 to 5 minute sets, doing sets under pressure. I wanted to do late night talk show. I still did. I never did it. And it's now, I think that ship has sailed. Yeah, but definitely. The point is, I just thought, let me just practice, see if I can do a tight 4.5, because I'm doing sloppy 45-minute sets as a headliner, and I get lazy and sloppy and just tell my meandering stories like I am now, and tighten it up, Nance. Come on. Yeah. But anyway, that is a great attitude. Get a great tape. Yeah. Throw your energy to the back wall. Do what you did up in Rapid City.
Yeah, I'm just excited.
And then the gravy would be to advance to the next round and not, okay, I like it.
I was like, I got a new pair of boots that I'm showcasing tonight.
Oh, check out. Hey, this won't air till after the event, but we'll give a follow-up. Yeah. Will you message me and let me know how it goes tonight?
Yeah. Speaking of late night, my goal was to host a late night show, but late nights were just kind of going out the window now. TV's like...
Well, now you can create your own platform. Yeah. That's the cool thing with social
YouTube
media.
I had an idea. I wanted to rent like a cargo van and put like a small desk and like 2 chairs in the back and do like driving around late night show. I just like interview people and I was like in the back and I have my buddy like in the front who's like a DJ, just do the music for the band, and just do like 10-minute episodes. Just
I like it.
Something like the van we had in Rapid City where we went driving around just with no seats, and just have like a tiny desk with a chair and have enough. I love
this idea. Let's manifest it.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do that for years.
Well, just start doing it. Yeah. I think you can do it, and find somebody. Doesn't somebody have a van you can use?
Right? So somebody has to. Either that, or I was thinking about just going to U-Haul and renting a cargo van.
You could just get the U-Haul. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lesbian joke in there somewhere. Yeah. Well, I'm going to visualize that happening for you. Anything you want to share? Anything about your tattoos? What's going on with the music? Do you play music?
Oh, I did. I thought I was going to be a musician for the longest time. I was really into like pop punk and metal, and I thought
the treble clef in the bass.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be in a metal band, and then I was not good enough on guitar, and nor could I find people to play. I was in a short-lived pop punk band with my buddy, but I only ever practiced with them. We never got to do gigs because I lived like 2.5 hours away and had no car.
Do you still play music?
Yeah, I've been trying to. I got really into country and folk music in the last like 4 or 5 years. So I've been practicing guitar a little more. I want to take vocal lessons because I am a god-awful singer. Sometimes I'll think I'm doing good and I turn the music down. I'm like, oh man, what was I doing?
It's humbling.
Yeah, it's very humbling. So that's like so my next goal is to afford vocal lessons so I could do. I really want to write music.
Okay.
Next.
All right. I love hearing about your dreams and passion and putting it out. I'm big into manifesting.
Yeah.
You know, like really.
Yeah.
Like if you can see it, start seeing the cargo van, manifest the cargo van. I'm very big on this.
Yeah.
And again, I like to talk about post-traumatic growth just because this podcast, I know we bring up trauma, but the point of it is to uplift, let people know they're not alone, and that if you let yourself process it, sometimes you'll find out you have these gifts. Like you probably do have a gift for music, you have a gift for comedy. There are these gifts that come from enduring trauma.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird to say I'm grateful for my trauma, but I can kind of say that at some time.
Yeah, because I always think like, oh, what life would have been like if my dad wasn't an alcoholic, my mom wasn't a drug addict. I'm like, I don't know. I probably would have been doing something else and would have been a different person. But I like who I am now, and I like what I'm doing now. We
don't wish our past away because we love ourselves the way we are.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change.
Like if I could get a time machine, the only thing I would do is win the lottery. That's about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't change anything in the past. That sounds very selfish. Like I'm not going to stop 9/11. I'm not. But like at the same time, it's like we have to let the history, like my own personal gain from a time machine, to just get money so I could not struggle.
And you know, when Zach Moss was on the program, we talked about the times where he went through where he would just get enough money to pay the rent. Yeah. And then we decided, I don't know, in that conversation, hey, it isn't fun to be scared about money, but at the same time, it lights a fire in your belly.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
Because have you ever seen those documentaries about people that win the lottery and it kind of ruins their life?
I know so much about it, but like I know exactly what I would do.
What would you do?
Okay, well, I'd go to a lawyer. I'd get a trust set up so you could collect it without putting your name in public, and then I'd set up some trust for family members. Like my buddies, like I have some best friends. I'd get all their kids set up for like college and stuff like that, and then I'd pay off people that I know their debt. You know what I mean? And then I'd buy probably land in Texas and just. I don't know if I'd keep doing comedy or not, because I was like, I made it. Like I got money. I would just buy land in Texas and just not seclude myself, but just kind of like live the lifestyle that I want.
Just relax, play music.
Yeah, I'd buy a bunch of vintage cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like old trucks, old square body trucks, 70s and 80s.
Oh, nice.
Muscle cars, just cool stuff. And that's all. And that's all I would splurge on. I wouldn't be trying to do. That's why I'm glad I never became an addict, because like I know when to stop, and I've tried certain drugs, but I'm just like, they're not for me. You know, so I'm just like, I'm glad I have no interest in doing any of that.
Yeah.
Because the most I think the biggest thing I'd probably spend money on is experiences for like me and people that I know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, hey, you want to go travel? Let's go see Japan. Let's go see Europe. You know what I mean? Let's go do this. But then other than that, I would just keep all my money saved.
I think you can do all of this. I actually do. I think you can manifest all of it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to see it happening, George. I really appreciate you coming and talking to me, sharing your story.
Yeah. I haven't talked about this in depth for a while. So I'm very like quiet too. So.
Yeah. So I appreciate you coming out of your shell a little bit, sharing with old Nance.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it again sometime. Yeah. Keep me posted on how things are going and when you manifest all this stuff, because it's going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'd like to thank my guest, George Delgado. By the way, George did advance in the New Faces contest at Comedy Works. He's in round 2, and I think round 2 is going to be in October. But check comedyworks.com for the New Faces contest. A lot of great rising comics there. Oh, follow George Delgado on Instagram at George Delgado Comedy. George, Delgado Comedy on Instagram. And thanks for tuning in to Traumedy, a new episode every Tuesday. I'd like to thank my son, Nathaniel Norton, for helping with this music. And thank you, the listeners, and the peer-to-peer sharing. I learned something every episode. Thank you so much. And thank you for the messages that you've been sending me, that you're interested in being interviewed and sharing. And I'm looking forward to it. And remember, no matter what, keep laughing.